Hello, Seeya.
Hello, Jude.
Aibo.
Hi, Born. Nice to see you
Nice to see you too.
again.
How are you today?
And hello to everyone else, of
Yeah,
course.
hello everyone.
We have our tea and coffee and Fika with cookies.
English breakfast? Yes, of course, cookies.
So please join us.
Please do. So, Seeya, how are you today?
I'm quite well.
Uh-huh.
It's cloudy and I like cloudy days. You
Oh,
said that you feel gloomy when it's cloudy, but I rather like it because you don't get so stressed about doing things.
yeah,
You can just do nothing.
do nothing.
And that's one meaning of life.
Yes, it is a topic. Our topic today is meaning of life.
Yeah.
How we see it, how I see it, how Seeya sees it.
Yeah. And maybe we will talk about different kinds of values that make a meaning in life.
Yes,
What makes a man a good human
being.
being.
Yeah.
Um, that was our thinking before, but we will see where we're going.
Right.
You can start, you by the simple question, what's the meaning of your life?
That's a good question. Meaning of my life. Yes. When it comes to life, for me, it's full of everything, full of good and bad and happy and sad. I would say, for me, in short, about life is you need to have good days, bad days, as well as mixed days, so that it needs to be like a pulse of a heart when the into your ECG machine and you see these lines going up and down, how it beats. So my reckon is what I reckon about life is it should be ups and downs every day, and you learn from the downs, and you brush up, you polish, you stand again and try to clear all the issues or problems and overcome it and learn the lesson and move on. So for me, the meaning of life is simply that, as well as the main principle is just move on as far as you can. Don't stagnate in one place. So that's the summary, but I will try to explore it in and out. So how it's for you?
Your thinking is quite interesting because I agree with you. A good day for me in the evening is when I have felt that up and down. So even the downs helps me to feel that I am alive. Of course, it depends on the circumstances. I have had, as many of you that are listening and looking, and even you, Jude, we have had rather tough situations that is not so easy to regain strength from. But anyhow, you take yourself out of it, through it, and in a way, it's like a wound that has healed, but also, as you said, you have got experiences. And for myself, I feel that when I have had those really tough situations coming through it, it has meant a lot of me understanding myself better. But I'm also aware of that some people can't do that by themselves. And a few of those serious thing I am talking about, I couldn't handle myself. I felt the need of other people, or other people saw that I needed help. So I could get through those moments. One of those was when my little brother died. I don't remember really, but it's 5, 6 years ago. That was really a deep feeling inside me. But now I feel very good of having had that deep down trip, because it sounds crazy, but in a way I get to know my brother better by that reaction. And then he was dead. Anyhow, it was very fascinating trip to think about today what that was. So that was also a meaning of life experience.
Of course, I agree with you. Adding on to that, I would say as a child, when from the childhood becoming a teenager and to a man, when as you are a child, you don't know much about life and you are gaining experience in your childhood days. And those are the days you think you are so free. It's a free will you have in your childhood. No stress, no responsibilities, nothing. But you have to overcome obstacles. You have to overcome the environment you are in, and deal with different sorts of people. And it's a learning curve. And life is all about from the childhood how you been brought up. Uh, saying that it depends on the background, as well as your school, as well as the society, social environment, social aspects, and things like that. But nevertheless, people like both in society where you say critical, I mean, a society where you have crisis, but still they have become their own, what do you call, they have built up their own legacy behind them also, because even though you have sad past or bad past doesn't mean that you become a bad person. I
No,
think
no, that
depends how you think as an adult, as you being built up to your teenage years. Then you learn the truth. You learn the true and false, and bad and good, happy and sad. And you get the feelings of everything when you are becoming a teenager. Then you have to filter those, and then filtering that, as well as you were saying about the death of your brother. Life is all about having relationship, and
yeah.
it's a connection of people, and you can't be alone in this world. You can't be sustained alone. You need connections, but you need right connections, and those connections should not mean box to certain category and criteria. I think you can expand on that as well, what I said.
Well, I associate two words like right or wrong. That's words that are used in the world of rules and laws and like that. But what you are talking about and what I feel is more important is the words good or bad. What is it that makes a man or woman good, or what is it that makes them bad? And that's a question that you must find the answers inside yourself.
Within yourself.
Yeah, because it depends on in which context this person exists. And that's why people that we today, as I, for instance, I can't understand how people can follow Trump so as a fantastic person doing everything right, or Putin for that matter. But people surrounding those persons, they have another feeling for that person. For them, they are good ones.
Yeah.
So that's why I mean, you can't say that one thing is right and one thing is wrong.
For some, it might be right. For some, it might be wrong. That's the world.
But somewhere you must ground yourself in, decide for yourself which values you stand up for. If you think about different situations, you can decide if it's a good or a bad situation or solution, or what the result is. Is it a good result or is it a bad result?
It depends on how you take it.
Yes, but I mean, if you have those values, for instance, Christian values, the Western world is built on Christian values mostly. Even if you not believe in a God or something, then you are brought up in a society that is built up on Christian values, and that makes it both difficult but also easier to decide what is good and what is bad. That is what is a problem for me when I say so. It sounds so easy, is that even the church, as for instance the Catholic Church, actual now when the Pope has died and so on, they have done things that you must see today, see that was very bad, very wrong, when they haunted people and executed people and like that. That was not Christian values that was behind those actions.
Yes.
It was certain persons with power that could do these things to other human beings, but in reality it was very bad.
It depends. Looking back at history, there are so much and so many things happened down the line, and we can't neglect and forget what has happened. For instance, what has happened in Germany in the past, what has happened in Japan, what has happened back in our country as well, in Sri Lanka. Life is all about, I think, sacrifice also. And as you said, the world have actually still, the world is learning itself. I don't think life is all about a learning curve. People should know that you are, until your last moment, you are learning. Am I right?
Yes.
So we can't say that we have learned everything. Even for myself, I might know a small area of my life, but there might be vast areas that we can't see. Even for instance, this part of the world, how things have been developed, systems they have implemented, and our part of the world, what we have, we cherish our heritage, our history, as well as our environment. So we all have some sort of unique aspect to our own life, as well as, I think, as I said, sacrifice is one of the key thing in life when it comes to living your life in a manner. As you said, values, under values, main thing is sacrifice, how you
It's important.
sacrifice your life to your children, your parents, your loved ones. So I have done sacrifices in my life, and we all have a story to our life. If I may ask from you also, as viewers, you might have a certain story on your own, and you can tell that story. But everyone has a story. So it's about how you have learned from that story, how you have built up from that story, and how you have become the man or the woman that you are now from that past. So that's the main thing. And you should change. And also, I believe we should adapt. Life is all about adaptation to certain environment, as animals do. They adapt to certain environments time to time, with the weather, as we were talking about in the beginning. So we should adapt. If it is raining, you should have a coat or an umbrella. If it is snowing, you should have more clothes on you and more covering with your faces and everything. And if it is sunny, you are having a casual wear. So it's the adaptation. So you need to know how you adapt to certain situation. I think people get they get misunderstood by themselves also in certain situations. How they main thing is they can't adapt to the situation. Even going to a party, maybe you need to recognize which party you are going to. This is an example I'm telling with my life. I have met, I think, not big shots, but I know for a fact I have met levels of the society, and how you adapt with those people according to their status also is a part of life. You should know how to adapt. You should know who is this person, so that you need to understand. Sometimes we misunderstood and we misunderstand people, then it creates issues. Am I right?
Yeah, I think so. But then what also was thinking that, could you remind me in part 2, we didn't say that, but this is part 1 about the meaning of life and values, and we will try to get to part 2. You remind me of a story that I can tell. It's about a football and a small ball.
Okay, sure.
It's quite fun.
Okay.
It has to do with this. But what I was reflecting on your saying is that when you say that we have to adapt to different situations, even social situations, I agree. But there is a risk that you also can misunderstand this process of adapting to meaning that you should be like that situation demands. Adapting is to listen, to understand, but still keep your own values very clear. So it's not a way of surrender or giving up yourself, just adapting. The adapting is to understand and to be a kind of accepted in this social situation, so that people may listen to what you have to say. Then I fully agree.
I agree on that as well. For example, in Sri Lanka, many cases for people who, this is an example as well, people who are coming into politics first time. If he's a first time, if that person is a first time, we see that person is really good before getting into power. And as you said, when he get the fame and when he get the power with votes and everything, most of the people adapt to that situation and lose their own values. They forgot their own past, how good they are, and they forget whom they are, and they drop their good values and becoming another person while while in the process of adaptation. So
they say that power corrupts you.
Exactly.
As a saying, that's a true risk. But then those who keep their values and get the power and still are the same people,
Yes.
they are the ones that really have the people's trust and can make wonderful things for a society.
Inside them, they have that person still. So you need to listen to your heart. In life, there's another thing that you need to understand. When take decisions, when reacting to certain situations, how you react. Some say you should not give the priority to your heart when you are taking a decision. You should give the priority to your brain. What do you think? I mean, this is a gamble when you having a situation like a good or bad situation. How you react, how you see Sia. I mean, is it about your taking decision from your heart or your mind?
I have a very clear view of that. I always say that there are three places: the heart, the brain, and also the stomach feeling. And if you are troubled by something and you can't decide what to do or what to say according to your brain, then I think you should listen to your heart.
Okay.
And also to your stomach. The stomach is more a feeling of the direction. It's a bit more to that than to that. So that's a good guideline. But the heart is mostly, I feel that what the heart says is more clear and more direct. And I have always followed my heart.
Because some people say taking decision from your heart makes you weak because it goes with your feelings and emotions.
Yeah, but it also gives respect when you can show that you are vulnerable, when you can show that you are not, that you are a little person also, because the result of the decision made by the heart will give you the proof of that it's a very big thing, not a coward-like decision. You stand up for something that is important for many people instead of just a few. I can give an example, very simple and easy. I remember now when I was going to see a movie.
Okay.
Together with my oldest grandchild.
Okay.
Adrian, who's now 19, but then he was, I think, 8 or 9. And we were walking into town, and there were two movies that they showed almost at the same time. And we hadn't decided which one we should look at. So we were talking about those two movies. And after a while, we just concluded that we couldn't decide which movie we should look at.
You were stuck.
We were stuck, and it was about 15 minutes before we came to cinema. So we had a few minutes on us, and then I said to Adrian, let's do a test.
Okay.
Now we decide, you decide, and I decide which movie we will go to see, and we choose movie one, and then you must feel in your stomach and feel with your heart, not your brain. How does it feel to go to that movie? Okay. And so we did. And then we did the same, but we choose the other movie. What do you feel? And we felt, and so.
Isn't that the gut feeling?
No, it was also a bit of the heart, mostly gut, maybe.
From the
But
stomach means it's gut, right?
yeah,
It's a gut feeling.
yeah, in that sense, yes. And to our surprise, the gut feeling we had was the same. It was movie too. It was something different with that feeling that sensed more positive than the other. And then we didn't problematize more. We just concluded that that's the movie we are going to see. And we felt very lucky. We had a good feeling that
The right decision.
that we could decide what to do. So that also is a tip. I tried it myself several times when I had the more serious issues to decide on, and felt, should I do that? And I felt, should I do that instead? And it has guided me quite well.
Yeah, of course. I mean, the gut feeling is most likely to be the right feeling as the norm. That has happened to me as well. If I feel this isn't right beforehand, doing something, obviously that isn't right. That has not been the right decision, and I was right all the way. You feel like that you have been there before it happens. It's a calling. It's a kind of a manifestation that you get from future. So life is all about, I also think life is all about living in not as a physical human being. You need to have, thinking of next level and be more, what do you call, be more
Right.
spiritual. Exactly, spiritual. You need to have that third eye. You need to have that thinking of next level. You need to sharpen that thinking, and you should not always go with the flow in certain situations. As you said, you should think it's not all about the wave. It's not all about the thing that if the crowd is going right, if there's 100 people going in a direction, you'd say right side, it doesn't mean that you should go follow them. If your gut feeling is no, it's not the right path that they are going, you can change. Oh, that's not the way, there's another way. So you should always think twice. I have made mistakes. We are not perfect as human beings. I have made many mistakes in my life, and I've learned from that. And I have regrets also. And you need to have regrets in life. If you think, oh, I don't have regrets, I'm the man, I'm this and that, some people have made their heart as a stone, that they think they don't have feelings and emotions and they are like straightforward people, but underneath them also there's a child who cries every night, every morning, now and then. Even the toughest person in the world has his own child inside living. You can't escape from that. I think life is all about mixing all these formulas together, and then you become a man, good or bad. And also there's a thin line between good or bad. Sometimes being really good making you bad. Sometimes being really bad making you good in the world. I think being bad sometimes, as you said, for example, Trump or Putin, they might be bad for us. For some, he's a good person. That's a good person.
I will, in the part 2, also tell the story about the tree and the rings in the tree. That has a meaning in what you are saying now. But for now, this
Episode
seems and feels good
good, yeah.
enough.
So this episode will close down for now, but we'll come back with the second episode with more about the meaning of life. So we'll meet you with our second episode. Just
Yeah.
follow us.
Bye bye.
Bye.